This thing is so sensitive. Ah, right. Woo! Another fact of the matter, here we are, and it's Wole Awolola right here. It's Fact of the Matter Tuesday, if you remember. I'm sure you remember that. Let me see. Somebody's joined me already. Let me see who's. I don't know, but I can't see you. Right. So we as welcome. It's great to be alive and well. And again, I bet you know what song is playing right now. If you do not know, you need to go onto all the social digital outlets, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, you name it, and repent at the altar by streaming or downloading. Or better still, you can, maybe sponsor my next track. Never know. But then, more excitedly, I released a video to that track just this Friday gone, the 9th of October. And I am simply overwhelmed by the many of you that have gone on to listen to it. You've watched it rather, and you've left such wonderful comments. My guest for this evening is waiting already. Ruth, I see you. I'll bring you on in a minute. Okay? Right. So I want to say thank you for all the encouraging words, encouraging comments. Indeed, it's a song of worship, and it was intentionally written to allow for congregational worship. It's just straight up like that. It says, I will praise you all my days. Anyway, you need to go watch it. So please go down to my YouTube channel, official Wole Awolola, and watch, share, leave a comment, and play again and again. I'm trying to raise the number of views. Okay, right. So my guest today, she is an amazing woman, and I tell you that for real, she is. Let me see. Where we met at the couple of years ago at the Todd Dulaney concert. That's the Hearts and Worship concert. And prior to our physical meeting, we had maybe exchanged a couple of lines via WhatsApp, and she was funny, and she is funny. Her comments just caught me. At least I laughed. I keep laughing, and I'll share some of her comments with you. Right. So I'm gonna bring Ruth Clarke on. She's all the way. I did say Liverpool, but she's gonna clarify all of that in a few minutes. So let me invite her. My wonderful sister Shola, she's already here. Listen, Sister Shola, you're, and there she is.
Hello. Oh, I'm so nervous. Oh my gosh.
I'm petrified myself.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing really, really well. Yeah, I've got my cup of tea. I'm all ready.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I know. You got to have a cuppa, good old North, a cup of tea.
Yeah, I hear you. I think you're better prepared for this than I am. I left my water downstairs. Look at that. You're poised and ready to go. Oh my goodness. How are you? How's your family? How's everyone doing?
Yeah, they're doing well. All the kids are upstairs. Peter's got them all in headlocks, telling them to be quiet. I was like, I'll buy you chocolates, I'll buy you anything. Please be quiet. So yeah, they've probably got Pete tied up actually. But yeah, no, we're doing really well. Life is busy, but it's good. And
okay.
It's been a mad year, but yeah, we're doing well. We're doing well.
Okay, that's great to know. Hopefully you'll be able to share a little bit about that and tell us what's been going on. But I like the idea that Peter's got everybody in a headlock. You're just funny. You keep bringing it. I don't know. Every other comment, you've got something that just cracks me up.
I've got 3 boys and they're all wild, so we've got to keep them in tow and stuff. But no, they're good kids. They're just real full of character, and they're proper little Clarkies. So
I can imagine.
Funny.
I see a lot of your postings on Facebook, on social media about your family, and we're gonna get to that in a second. But for those who do not know you, right? So hold on a second. Let me bring my. Oh, go away. This thing's never come when you want them to. Go away. I'm gonna lose out my laptop. Okay, so for those who don't know, Ruth is an amazing worship leader. She has been leading for 15 years now. Yeah, when I was just about a year tall, I was maybe about that tall. You know, I still had pimples on my face back then. And she travels leading worship at different churches, worship nights, events, and conferences. And even one of those was the amazing Todd Dulaney live in concert a couple of years ago. And what an experience that
Yeah.
was. In fact, you know what? I'm trying to relive that moment right now. Something very unique. A few things happened that night that was just unique. But do you remember this one where Chipo, remember Chipo who was playing his acoustic guitar? He brought in a new guitar and wanted to tune it. He hadn't tested it. He just thought, let me tune it and work with it and try to use that when I go on stage. So he started fooling around and playing. And before you know, he started this worship song. We were in the men's room. We were, thankfully changed, mostly changed by that time. And he started, before you know it, I think I joined in or somebody else joined in and then somebody else joined in. And then about 6, 7 men were singing praise and worship in that men's changing room. And then lo and behold,
We
came
gave
yes. You were like, I don't care if it's a men's toilet, men's bathroom, it's the sound of worship, we're barging in. And then thankfully you came with we came in as well.
I know we just
Yeah.
worship. We just didn't think, and we just started singing together. And I was like, I was
Yeah.
just thinking the men's changing room, but my husband was in there. I was like, and
Yeah.
he's like singing along. But wasn't that amazing? Wasn't that beautiful though? That time to
Yeah.
spend time. And I was actually looking at the film of that the other day. It came up on my Facebook as like
Oh,
and there was one of you and Peter and Cheapo all together, and then
okay,
one
yeah.
that, and it was just lovely. I was like, oh, that was such a special night, wasn't it?
It was probably one of the highlights of the year for me because it wasn't planned. And how did it start off? The man was just tuning his guitar and decided to, play along, sing a worship song of sorts. And then there was an atmosphere that just came in and then we joined in, then the other joined in. And actually it went on from uh, leading worship or singing songs of worship to now praying and committing the night into God's hand. That was an amazing experience. Absolutely. One of it was different to many others that I've been at. Maybe where I had my fellow friends who were going to minister, but we were always under pressure. Like, sorry, sir, you'll be going out in 5 minutes. You'll be going out in 10 minutes. But this was relaxed, and such was the outcome of it. Lovely stuff. Before I carry on, let me tell you that we've got some great people already joined it. Naomi in Ireland. Uh, Babs Adejuwon. Naomi says hi. Hey, Ruthie.
She gorgeous, she looked lovely.
Yeah.
Naomi's a worship leader as well.
All right. I think we have an assembly of worship leaders here this evening. Lovely.
We should invite her on to sing a song.
Sorry, say that again. Say that again. The line was bad. What did you say?
Should get Naomi on to sing a song.
Okay.
Tell
Maybe I might have to invite her especially for this one. You've been put on the spot. I've got Joanne Janae, eye makeup. I think she's a makeup artist, somebody you know.
Makeup at Todd Dulaney. You've met Joanne, actually.
Yes, I have.
Oh, you did my makeup. No, Joanne did my makeup for the music video. I'm getting all confused.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Joanne. But Joanne's a makeup artist, yeah. She did my makeup for Takeover video.
Well, she did an amazing job. Tendai Horton is here. Jackie Aki is here. Akam Soul. I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. People, my sister Shola, Ayo, my brother is always on the show. People are saying, I remember this. Were you there? Who's People 74? Who's that?
Oh, that's my husband.
Peter! Oh, Peter! I'm trying English accent. Oh, Peter! How you doing? I think it was his birthday. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Was it his birthday 2 days ago?
Yeah, he's 46 now. He's getting old.
Oh, look at that. Well done, that man. Lovely. Lovely. Let me see who's got HPF music. Peter, you say hi, guys. It's Peter. I'm safe and sound, and kids not tied me up. I think you tied them up.
After you that kid, you'll understand then.
Okay,
So what?
now listen. I said you in my introduction on my posting on social media. I said you are from Liverpool, but you
Yeah,
actually I read up on your profile and it actually says that you live in Warrington, Cheshire. So
yeah.
what's the connection? Were you born there? What's the connection?
Yeah, I'm very complicated. So I was originally born in Nuneaton, which is by Coventry, Birmingham. So
Okay,
I'm actually from the Midlands originally.
okay,
I moved up to Liverpool when I was 14 because my parents helped set a church up.
right,
And then I met my lovely husband, and then in Liverpool for 22 years. And then I've
okay,
moved just outside. Warrington is literally like 10 minutes from Liverpool.
right,
So
okay,
we was part of a church plant in Warrington,
right,
and
okay.
we do a lot of pastoral care, and we're part of like we were doing. My husband's the cat manager for Warrington, so Christians
Oh
get to,
wow,
you've heard of that. So we
okay.
were doing a lot of our ministry stuff in Warrington, and we just felt to move, so we moved out, and we're now in sunny Warrington. But we're only 10 minutes from good old Liverpool.
From good old
I
Liverpool.
my heart, I love Liverpool. I love Warrington.
Really?
But like Liverpool, you can go into a coffee shop in Liverpool and
Okay.
a stranger will just buy you a coffee. It's just lovely. I love Liverpool.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I,
honestly, you know, as the salt of the earth, like people are just so friendly and so
oh
lovely.
my.
I've spent most of my life in Liverpool, and more so than Coventry and stuff. But yeah, I just love Liverpool.
Oh
It's,
wow. You know
it's a
what? I think I just heard the Lord speak to me now that I need to move to Liverpool. I think he just
Yay, we can
I'm
do everything. Yay.
oh, I've had a comment here saying Liverpool is the promised land. Okay, all right, okay.
Elsa, yeah, it is. Amen, Andy. But
Amen to that. Okay, all right. All right, so let's get to you.
yeah,
You've mentioned something about your parents, um, but give us a scoop. What's your background, your family life, your childhood like? Are you the only child? Are you one of many children? Are you first, second, third, last? What was your upbringing like? Was your schooling days like? What? Come on, give us a scoop. What's up?
so I was born in Nuneaton, which is just outside Coventry by
Right?
Bedworth. Got brought up in a really loving Christian home. My mum and dad
Oh,
were
wow.
in the church, and
Ah,
really got grounded. You know, we just was really involved in the church. That's part of my testimony, really. God has just really had his hand on me and throughout my whole life. He's just kept me safe. But so they did that, and then obviously I went to Blue Coats in Coventry, which was it was looking back with it was a good school, you know, and I was there for GCSEs. I had to get pulled out of school,
okay.
just because I was due to do my GCSEs. I had to start up a whole new life in Liverpool, and
Oh,
I remember my first day. I remember feeling really like anxious about it because it was like all my friends were down there, and I didn't want to move, and I just know that God's plan. Looking back
yeah,
at it, like he just had
yeah.
his hand in my life, and you
Mhm.
know how I wouldn't have met my husbands and everything.
Oh.
And my accent's changed. I sound like a proper Scouse. I sound like Leeds, actually. It's quite funny. But I moved the weekend we moved to Liverpool. I
Yeah.
got picked up from a youth group in Liverpool to go to a youth camp.
Okay.
Um, Picked me up from Coventry. We went down to South, and then when I finished youth camp, I was living in Liverpool. So it was
Okay.
like a bit of a thing. So I moved there. That was where I had a real encounter with the Lord at that youth
Wow.
camp.
Wow.
It's so easy, isn't it, when you get brought up in a Christian home you can
Right.
assume, you know, everything's great, but you've got to know God for yourself, haven't you?
Right. Right.
Just
Yes, absolutely.
with him. And I remember there was a guy called Mark Ritchie. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's like a comedian, Christian comedian, and
Okay.
he was preaching, and he just said to all of us in his preach, you know, oh, is there anyone here who just wants to really say yes to God for every plan that he has for your life, and you want to know him for yourself? And I just remember thinking, like, I'm not saved just because my parents are. I need to know God for myself.
Yeah.
So I just remember like just sobbing, and God just really touched me. And I just remember thinking, God, I'm going to live my life for you. And I just want it. And I just remember having that deep encounter with him. And it's just never left me since. I just feel like he just had that real encounter with me. And that's where I would say I got saved. You know, I got obviously brought up, but where I made that commitment to the Lord, and that's where I got a heart for worship and stuff like that. And yeah, so I'm one of six. I've got four big bros.
Okay.
So yeah, my brother Ty, actually, he's got an amazing voice. He actually has his own record label, but he's fallen away from it a little bit now. But yeah, I just so I used to love listening to my brother sing, and then I used to never knew I could sing, and then I started getting a heart for worship, and God just grew that in me and grew that in me. I'll probably be waffling. I'm going all over the place. I should have
No, listen. This talk show is about waffling, Bruno. It's
and get all comfy. So yeah, I'm from one of six. I've got four brothers. I've got a sister that she passed away 10 years ago.
Oh, so sorry to hear that.
Which is really sad. And I missed it, but she's with the Lord, and
yeah,
it's really unexpected. But I've got my four big bros, and like my mum and dad, they live abroad. They work 9 months away in Italy now. So yeah, we're all everywhere. My brother lives in Spain. My other brother, two brothers live in Coventry still. So my mum basically brought me to Liverpool, got me married off, and then
and then she goes, "That you all sorted."
Like, she's a nice Christian man. She's all right. Yeah. So, but yeah. So I don't know if I've briefly gone over it, and then obviously I've been in Liverpool, and it just, as soon as I come to Liverpool, I just felt like it was home to me.
Right.
Like,
okay.
You know, it was, even though I was anxious about coming, I had to go back a year in school. But then I ended up doing 2 years coursework in 6 months, and I passed all my GCSEs. God's hand. And it's just been amazing, really. So yes, that's how I got to Liverpool. But yeah, I've been so blessed to be brought up in a Christian family, and God just protected me from everything, even to the day that I got married. Like, the Lord just had his hands. I felt like I was just in the palm of his hands. And do you know, like, people sometimes have testimonies and they're like, got all the juicy bits, like, well, this happened to me and that happened to me. Like, God is just, I feel like God just literally had me in his hands. And I just feel so blessed by that. Because I used to, when people say, have you got a testimony? You go, not really. And then people, you have got a testimony. God kept you pure. He kept you in the palm of his hands. And one of my prayers that my mum used to say to me was, I always prayed that you would never experience the world, and that God would just keep you in the palm of his hands. And I had so much going on around me in school. And I just always knew, like, the Lord just always kept me strong through all them trials and stuff. And so I just thank God, really, for his goodness. And then I got married. I turned into a little rebel.
Maybe all thanks to Mr. Clarke, but he didn't hear that. Let's leave that. Right, you say, okay, listen, that is so interesting. 22 years married, you said, and 4 kids.
Yeah.
There were 3 boys and a daughter.
Yeah.
Right. So has it been plain sailing through with marriage, raising kids?
No, you know what? We've had some rough times, and that's part of my story as well. Just like, you know, I had 5 months after we got married, we nearly split up. It was a shock to the system. We drove to Tenby on a holiday, met a couple that said they felt God say they were going to have a divine appointment. Me and Pete were nearly having a divorce, putting a tent up. And then the couple invited us for tea, who we've never met from before, this little Welsh couple. And they said, we want you to come for tea. So we went, we like didn't want to go, you know, but you just have to be polite. And then we went into their tent and they went, we just feel God's told us we're going to meet someone and it's a divine appointment. And they said, can we just pray for you? And I'm like, told Pete to get on his knees, and I was like laughing, like, because I thought I was all, you know, I had it all together, and thought I had no wrong in anything. And anyway, I went off Peter thinking, he's not going to go on his knees. Like, no, he's not going to have a stranger. Anyway, he did. And then he went to me, sister, you get on your knees. And I was like, oh man, I don't even know this guy or this woman.
Okay.
And he prayed for us, and we just both felt the peace of God just come over the both of us, and God just completely restored us. It honestly, such an amazing story in that. And so yeah, we did that, and then we came back off that holiday, and our family were like, we walked through the door and they were like, what's going on? You look different. We look radiant. Like the God had just completely touched us, and we just, yeah, it was amazing. So that's part of our story. And obviously
Peter is laughing. He's laughing. He's just
laughing because he's probably laughing at me when I was kicking off with the tent. But God, that's what I'm saying. God, like what he, you know, what he puts together, like the enemy tried to come and destroy it, and put them people in that place at the right time, because we went, and so God's just put his hand on us, and he's kept us so strong. Like 22 years, man. That's like so blessed.
That's no joke. That's no joke. That's not what you hear in the media of late. You tend to now hear of people saying, oh, I'm in my 3rd marriage, I'm in my 4th marriage. And it seems like that's something to be proud about. But to hear 22 years of staying married, 25, 30, is like, woo, how did you manage that? But that was always God's original intention for us, that we stay together. And of course, it's down to us how we renew the love within the marriage to make sure we keep it fresh. We don't get so used to it that, you know, it becomes, you know, sideline, and like we become tenants in their house, as it were. But you said you almost broke up after, did you say after 5 months or 5 years?
5 months, we nearly killed each other. Click my ear now and then. But no, I am only joking. If no one gets a scouse, you'd be like, oh my gosh, Ruth's like battering her husband. No, I'm not. But yeah, no, God, and what it was, I think you just got to keep God in the center, and we like that is the key ingredients. I think marriage, God at the center. And when you go through tough times, back to the Lord. And Pizza said she does. I don't hit you with a saucepan.
Oh my goodness!
Out now, isn't it? It's like marriage counselling, this, babe. This is good. We've got that can help our marriage. So yeah, so it's been but yeah, Pete is. I'll actually have to humble him after this conversation. But he's an amazing man, and he's such a godly man, and I love him to pieces, and I won't be without him.
You know what? I sensed that about him when I met him at the Todd Dulaney concert, because he's kind of taller than the average guys, right? So, sorry, how tall? How tall?
6'5".
Oh goodness me! Right, 6'5". Oh my! Right, okay. He's taller than the average man, right? So when I saw it, and usually you would associate with men that tall with being British and being, you know, arrogant or sort of like in your face. But he came soft, and I think he started singing along. I didn't even know he was your husband and he was your drummer for the night. So I went, okay, he's not so intimidating after all. but then he was oozing out this this how can I put it? It was a friendly aura about him. It was a godly aura about him. There was no, he was pretty much like what you see is what you get. And there's no pretense about me. I've not got airs around me. And that I got just from the first encounter. And you've just said much about that. You've said a lot about that.
Right. Like that at home, you know, he has his days where it's a pain in the bum, but he's
we all do, don't we? Okay, I'm painting him like an angel right now, but hey, okay.
This is a Peter's interview.
It's quickly turned into that, hasn't it? Oh my goodness. Okay, let's shift it back to you very quickly. Right. So I was going through your Facebook page, some of the comments you left, and there was this video that you did, you sang into, you set up your studio equipment and you sang into, and then you left a comment saying, Peter, what are you up to? I don't know. No. You wrote that you the song that you sang that ministered to you during a time when you went through years and years of poor health. That
Yeah.
all you do was to just press into God in worship. Can you tell
Mhm.
me a little bit about that? What was it? Is this something you can share with us?
Yeah, yeah, of course it is. Yeah. So in 2004, I had my
Yeah.
first child, Joshua,
Okay.
and everything was great. And during childbirth, I nearly died. I had a
Oh,
postpartum hemorrhage.
oh
Um,
wow.
and it was very traumatic, more so for Peter than myself, because I didn't have a clue what was going on.
Wow.
Um, and it was just really, really, it was a really hard time. And I just remember all this crash team coming in going, what's going on? I had the baby in my arms and they just took him off of me. And all the red lights were going, the sirens were going. And I just remember seeing Pete's face go white. And I
Wow.
remember going on, and I could feel myself going. And I had, and this is where God's hand was even in it. The midwife that I had was a pastor of a church.
Oh
I
man.
Ian was like my husband and my mum, and she was so experienced. And the student midwife that was there was actually who saved my life, because you just seen it
Wow.
so quick, and there was such a presence, like God was just there. And she actually delivered 3 of my kids afterwards, the same midwife.
Wow.
And she was just amazing. And I remember they got everything under control, but what happened was afterwards I just never really recovered, and I was very, very ill for quite a lot of years.
Wow.
Took nearly 6 years, 6 years of back and forwards, loads of investigations. They diagnosed me with lupus in 2010.
Hmm.
And I was literally couldn't get out of bed, just like life was just awful.
Wow.
And through that time, all I could do was, all I knew what to do was to worship God, and
Hmm.
it was the only thing that got me through.
Wow.
Um, days I couldn't even look after my own child because I was just so ill.
Hmm.
I just really hit rock bottom. And I remember hearing that song, Healer, and I remember I just had it in my headphones, because sometimes I couldn't even lift my arms. I felt that weak. And
Wow.
I remember listening to it over and over again. And every time I listened to it, it just really like lifted me, and it built my faith, you know. And I remember just singing it over myself over and over and over again. And I was literally under cardiologist. I was meant to get a heart monitor fitted in my chest because
Right.
my blood pressure would go so low.
Wow.
And it was nearly probably 10, 12 years of ill health. Just really, really ill. And anyway, just kept worshipping through the storm. And this is why I'm so passionate about
Right.
worship. Like,
Yeah.
we don't just worship God in the good. We worship
Hmm.
him when we're going through stuff. We
Come
worship
what
him
may.
because he
Woo.
deserves praise and
That's
our
it.
worship. And through that time, I didn't have the strength to do many things, but one thing I did was I had worship going in my ears
Oh,
constantly.
wow.
And God just carried me through it.
Right.
And now I'm doing really, really well. Or my
Oh,
lupus
praise
level
God.
up to normal limits. And God's just really restoring me, keeps restoring me, and keeps restoring me.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I'm able to be the wife God called me to be, the mum God called me
Brilliant.
to be.
Yeah.
I'm able to travel, lead, and worship. I mean, you're talking to someone that couldn't even get out of bed, you know?
Wow.
So it's just, he's just really done an amazing work in me. And yeah, that
Wow.
song means so much to me. And even when I recorded that song, it was like, I
Yeah.
was like, look, I had no voice. I couldn't even like talk hardly.
Yeah, you did say.
I just started singing it, and it's like my voice started coming back. And
Wow.
even like when I went to share it, it's funny how
Hmm.
some like the niggles come, and I was like, it's not good enough to share. But then I thought it's not. It's for God, and I just want to
Good enough for
share.
who? Yeah,
You know,
that's it.
some criticize it, and I thought that came from the heart. So
Yes.
the little niggles. I'm not a performer. I'm a worshipper. So I was like, no, it's getting. I'm
That's
sharing
it.
the story, and I shared it at a WOW conference in my testimony, and there's so many women that were going through similar things, and it was just it was so lovely to hear how some women were just like blessed, and it just built their faith. So I
Yeah.
think we got to sometimes when we're doing stuff, isn't it so easy to look at everything and you could
Wow.
take it on yourself rather than for the
Yeah.
Lord. I think our eyes on God, don't we? In essence. So, but yeah,
Wow.
so that's a little bit of my story. So I'm doing well. I'm back to doing cartwheels now and everything. So God is just amazing. Even like now, we still have trials, don't we? And this whole lockdown has been difficult, especially having 4 kids homeschool and work, and I work within youth work as well.
Wow.
And I work for Warrington Youth for Christ. So
Right. Okay.
so it's just been, so there's so many people that are going through so much, and even myself in lockdown, the first couple of weeks, I was like, Lord, help me. This is difficult. Like, I was
Okay,
nearly
you know
caught.
what? I'm gonna ask you to hold on because we're gonna talk about the lockdown experience in a
Sorry,
bit, in a bit,
I'm being
in a
naughty
bit. But
now.
I wanna mention some names right now who have joined us. There's a wonderful sister of mine who joins every single Tuesday. Pauline Ramirez, she's on. She watches the replay. She's always there, ever so supportive. Now, right above her is a name called Humblest. Now, that is my producer. The new single that I released and the one before I Need You Now was produced by this man. His name is Yomi, but we call him Mr. Humblest. It's like that. He's left a comment about the story just told us, that setting the atmosphere in worship does so much. And
Yeah.
indeed it does. It does. And Pauline is saying, awesome testimony, amazing God. Joanne, well, she left a capital N. I hope that's for maybe not for no. A few others. You're right. So Catherine Laura, I think I mentioned that already. Okay. All right, cool. So let me see. I'm trying to judge. Okay, let's start with this. How did you now make the transition from um, a lover of God, a Christian, um, somebody just worships, to now taking it on as a ministry, as in this is a ministry rather than just, well, I can lead worship, but now I lead other in worship. What brought about that transition? Was there an open heavens moment where you thought, nah, okay, this is the moment? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm going to try not to waffle and like go all over the place because I'm
Okay.
terrible at waffling. I'm so sorry, guys.
No, 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 that's fine. I'm telling you, it's fine. I'll rein it back in. Don't worry, you go.
So I was actually really scared to sing, let alone lead worship. And we used to meet with some friends in our living room, and we used to just worship together. And we
Okay.
used to Christian places, used to be called Awaken, and we used to minister places. And I remember being at the Jesus Culture concert in London about
Okay.
10 years ago.
Okay.
Already leading worship, and I remember looking down. We was on the balcony, and I remember looking down, and I seen at the stage, I seen thousands of silhouettes of hands worshiping God,
Right.
and I remember I was just worshiping God, and I broke down, and I felt like the Lord say to me, "You are going to lead people from the nations, and you're going to lead thousands in worship, and
Wow.
when you chains are going to be broken off people's lives, and you're going to step out." Picture that I seen, I felt like the Lord say, you're going to sing in this sort of setting, and you just need to step out. And I was absolutely petrified. I was like, no, Lord, no. And it was really that was like 10 years. I remember I've never got rid of this picture out my mind, out my head of all
Right.
these thousands of hands, silhouettes worshiping God.
Right.
I remember like just shying away from it a little bit, but it never left me. And we laid Awaken down. Our friend went over to America. He went to the Christ for All Nations. He was the director there. And I remember thinking, how's this going to happen, God? But that vision in my heart never left me. And I cried for about 2 weeks when we laid Awaken down. I was like, Lord, this is what you told about, going up, like worshiping and waking people up, like, people are asleep, waking them up to like what God has and stuff like that. And I remember years and years went past, and it just wouldn't leave me. And I remember God saying, I'm faithful to my promises. And I was like, Lord, I haven't even got the confidence to do this, let alone do this thing. And so I shelved it, and it just never left my heart. And I had to go to Christ for the Nations Institute, which is in Dallas, Texas, with work. I was promoting a gap year for our Youth for Christ.
Okay.
And I in an auditorium with 1,200 people, and there was a lady there called Max. She's a real close friend of mine from the WOW conference. And we just was like, do you want to go for coffee and cake? And then she just said to me, I just want you to lead worship at my conference. And I was like, I think she hasn't even heard me sing, like, you know, like what's going on? Anyway, while I was there, that's how while I was there, that's how I met Brian. He was at that conference, and it all started from there. And I just felt like the Lord just like, he made things happen. I didn't even have to press on, like, he just like put me around people that encouraged me in that, and
Right.
things opened up without me even trying. I was like, Lord, and I'm still trying to run away from it. You know what I mean? No, I don't want to do this. And I never ever thought I would be like sort of, I seen it as like a team thing. I never thought that God actually put that on my heart to go
Right.
and do that. And he just kept speaking to me. And this picture never left me. I don't know if I've ever told you the story, but
Okay.
this picture that the Lord gave me, it never left me. When we were just, you know, we were at the Todd Delaney concert.
Yeah.
Basically, the building that we did it in, that was the picture that God gave me, and I didn't even know. Ended up at the concert, and I remember seeing it, going, "Oh my gosh!" And I felt God say, "This is the beginning," and I was just step, because I took that step. Because I remember with the Todd Delaney concert, Brian told me, he was like, "Ruth, you're going to be singing at the concert," and I thought he was winding me up. So like till about a month before, I realised that he wasn't actually joking when I seen the flyer. And I was like, oh no. So I was trying my best to get out of it. But Brian was just like, no, like, you know, but you've got something you need to go for. So, and even that week, that run up to that concert, like you find that when you step out into what God has, and when you're taking ground, you know, the battles get worse and worse, don't they? Sometimes you have to just keep your eyes on the Lord. And and that week before, I nearly never went because I had one of the worst weeks I've ever had. So much personal going on. And I remember getting in the car at 12:30 at night. I was singing on the Saturday night, and we should have been there on the Friday night. And I remember 3 people ringing me up saying, Ruth, you need to go. And these are people that were, you know, not always supportive. Said you need to go. And I remember thinking, wow. So I just grabbed my stuff, threw it in a bag, and my husband drove down to London. We got there at 4:00 in the morning.
Oh wow.
And I remember, and then when I got there and I seen the picture of the building, I felt like, God, I'm meant to be here. And then and I didn't look at it as a concert. I was just like, Lord, I'm just going to worship you tonight. And that's what I did. I felt like, and that word that someone gave me years ago, they said, I had 4 people say that with worship, I see chains breaking when you worship. And it's part of the gift and calling. And, I remember after the concert, 4 people came up to me and said, when we was worshiping, I just felt like chains breaking.
Oh, wow. Praise
like, Lord,
God.
and something. And I don't know what it is. I've just got such a stirring in my heart now. Like, I'm Lord, whatever you have for me. I don't want to waste any more time. I wasted so many years in fear of stepping out because I was too worried what people thought of me than what God thought of me. And
you
now,
know what? You know, from what you've been, from all the stories that you've been telling us and all these experiences that you've had, it's very obvious to me, well, from what little experience I have about life, that someone, which I reckon is actually 2 people, your parents, they prayed over you. They must have travailed over you because you were getting answers and results that you didn't work for, that I don't think you even prayed for before you got the answers. And you know, so I can say God at work, but I can also see that your parents, or somebody must have prayed hard over you and has spoken into your future so that you are now just walking into it. And like the Lord told you, you know, whenever the Lord shows us a picture, from my little experience, he shows us a glimpse of the beginning. He never shows us the very end because he wants us to connect with him with that very beginning in order to carry on to a bigger picture at the end. It's just the way the Lord works, and that I can see God's hand as working your life. All right, let's lighten things a little bit. are a funny woman, I have to tell you. I read your comments on Facebook and I'm like, Lord have mercy. Okay, now I've got, hold on a second.
Be
Right,
good
you
at that
said
tonight.
this one says, just thought I would jump on the scales after my holidays. Two words. Oh dear.
No, yeah.
And then you went, oh, let me see. Let me see. Right. Okay, so wow, finally faced the scales after 2 weeks. No more pies for me. 8.5 pound gain. Lord help me.
I need a trip from the Lord. I'm like, Lord, I just like pies. I'm,
Oh,
I'm like one of the lads, aren't I? Oh, and
oh,
look, can't beat the chippy, can you, with pies? You know what I
oh
mean?
my goodness.
I've done so well as well. I lost like 2 stone because obviously being poorly, I put
Yeah, I
weight
saw
on.
that.
Yeah, and
I,
I'm on my way back up.
oh my goodness. Don't
And
tell me the only way is up. Listen, sometimes the only way is right there. Just stay there.
did so well. But yeah, it's just one of them. The struggle is real. Lord
Oh
help me.
wow.
At
Oh
least I asked
wow.
him to help me. It was my first point of call, you know.
Right. Oh wow. Wow. But you know what? You and Peter did something amazing. You went to Costco and you plugged in your phone and started playing gospel music or Christian worship song and the storehouse. How did that happen?
We do it every time we go. I
Do
think
you
the
know
staff,
then?
but they can't. What they do is when they turn one off, we put another one on, and then
Oh,
we put it on the fullest. Like in Costco, like the speakers, the Apple like Bose and all that, aren't they? They're like, so we look for the, obviously Pete understands. He looks for the most powerfulest speaker in
right,
Costco,
right.
and then we put oh, what did we put on last time? We just put like on like a proper gospel like type song on.
Woohoo!
Put it on. Like, oh yeah, that's what we put on. There's power in the name of Jesus to break it.
Oh,
And we just had that
Tasha
blasting.
Cobbs. Oh my goodness.
Tasha Cobbs is amazing. So anyway, there's all to Costco's chocker and there's speakers on like as many decibels as it can be on. And
Right.
giving it some beans for Jesus. And it's a spot. And I just think, you know what? It's use every opportunity. So
Wow.
they're getting Jesus even in Costco, even if they don't know
Yeah.
it. Did we just put worship on? But do you know what? There was such a stillness and a peace that came in Costco. I'm not even joking. There was just
Wow.
there was just such, because it was just so loud and the quality, like there's power in the name of Jesus. I was like
Wow.
boom house. And I just remember thinking, and I'm singing as well, and we're like 10 aisles up and you still
Oh
hear it.
my goodness.
Sit,
Wow.
staff don't turn it off, you know. I think they're used to us now. They're like, here's the Christian Bible bashers again, but we're like,
There you go.
but they must love it because they must love it because they didn't stop it. They did it first, but we
You know what? Peter's just saying I'm next in Costco. So I think it works a bit differently over here. I think,
every Christian in Costco,
yeah.
they, everyone will be hearing about the Lord. Costco ministry.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. And we have to plant a ministry in every branch of Costco then.
Yeah, but we love it. We just think, you know, obviously my husband is evangelist, isn't he, as well? And like he works in his job. Like, obviously, we're all called to tell people about the Lord, aren't we?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, it's just like any opportunity, and you know, and it opens up opportunities for people to speak to you about the Lord, and it's
Oh,
such a
he will play my track. Yes, please play my track. It's Costco.
I'm going to promise you that next time we are in Costco, I'm playing your song through the speaker and I'm going to film it. You
Woohoo!
are worthy to be praised.
That is the song. That right there is the song.
Yeah, it's a cool song. I love it.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, listen, let's shift to your music now. You released your first single, and I think it's the only single so far.
Yeah.
Take Over. I think that
Yeah,
was last year, wasn't it?
yeah, November last year.
November last year. Wow, it's almost a year. What do you know?
Yeah.
Wow. So how is that? How is that going? How did it come about? That was it a smooth process? Was it a long time coming? Was it like, well, I always knew I was going to do that. Tell us a little bit about that.
If Brian's listening now, he'd be laughing when you said, "Was it a smooth process?" Um, yeah. So Brian asked me to sing he wrote this song few years before he met me at the the Break Free conference,
Right.
and he asked me to. He said, "Oh, look, we'll send you some track. Do you fancy this?" And for a couple of years, I was like, "No," because I was so scared to like do anything like that. And every now and then Brian sent me a message going, have you thought any more of doing a song? And I was just like, oh no. And then I remember he saying, just come down to Kent and just have a go at, come down. So I went down there with the guys, and me and my friends went down, and I just remember doing it and really enjoying it. And I heard the song and I really loved it. And then we did some of the work on the song, and then we sort of shelved it for a bit because I had to finish it off, and I was just petrified. Get me in a recording studio, and I don't get from this confident. I just go to pieces. I'm like a little scare me,
Oh
honestly.
my goodness.
But it was amazing actually. Inspired Lane were amazing with me because they found a way to capture what they wanted without me go to pieces. And I remember just saying, just worship. Just and eventually we got it done, and yeah, and released it really. But obviously being a mum of four, it was hard
Mm,
traveling down,
I can
and
imagine that.
yeah, and I just remember, and then Brian would come up here and would record some, and it was just amazing, like the effort that got put into just getting it done. And I think a lot of it, what took so long was
Yeah.
it was a confidence thing because it was scary to me. I was just like, oh, I don't see, I'm a worshiper, can't see myself recording, and it was a real big step for me. And I
Yeah.
remember like
Yeah.
thinking, well, if this can reach people in their homes who
Yeah.
maybe not getting to church, and it
Yeah.
can bless them, like this is for God's glory.
Yeah.
And then I remember listening to all the words in the song, and it's like sometimes I get overwhelmed with everything I
Yeah.
see.
Yes.
And I was
Yes.
just like, Lord, I give it to you. I'm letting go of my
Yes.
shame.
Take over, Lord. Yeah.
It just really blessed me. And I remember thinking, no, this song, I felt like that song got written for me with
Right.
everything that's been put through, so I could really put my heart into it.
Such a
And yeah,
lovely
and
song
I
as
think once
well.
I got
Yeah.
over the fear, and I'm thinking, and fear's not from the Lord anyway. And I was like, Lord, I just need, and what it was, I was just scared of stepping out. But
Mm.
now, I'm like, Lord, I'm
Yeah.
just excited for whatever you've got,
And see what results you've gotten from that now.
Yeah.
In fact, I believe the song is on Spotify. It's on you got the video out on YouTube. It's on all the digital outlets basically. So people, if you're listening, if you're watching the replay or maybe live, please go and check Ruth Clarke's song out. Take over. You need to download it, stream it again and again. And listen, I've learned something. Don't just stream it. You need to click save. You need to save her on your Spotify list. That is what gets count as a a listenership, and add her to your playlist because we want to get more plays. We want to get more plays, as in on repeat until your battery goes flat. You keep on playing that, okay? You know what? Doing something like recording, you're not by yourself. But when you talk about being scared or petrified when you went to the studio, I'll tell you this very quickly because we've got about 10 minutes. My first time in the studio, first time, I'd been looking forward to it. I talked about it, I spoken about it, I had shouted about it. I was like, whoa, it's gonna happen. My wife was like, okay, all right, cool, yeah, let it happen. My first day, I couldn't wait to get in there and record and just do all the vocal gymnastics, everything I've heard other people do on their projects and all that. When I came back home, I opened the door. My wife was expecting like a cheerful like glow on my face, like wow. I came in with my head was down. I was upset. I was down. And then she's like, okay, so what happened? I went, never again.
Isn't
No
it?
kidding. I said never again. I said it's not for me. Because
Yeah.
I would sing something and play it back. It sounded awful. I said, what the, who's that? And like, when I'm not under pressure, I get lots of colorful, playing with notes and all that. But now I have to record it and everything just disappears. Like, Lord, where is it gone? But I realized that learning experience, and you also learn to lean on God. At least that's for me. I learned to lean on the Lord. Like, okay, nothing is ever perfect. It can always be improved on. But whilst I'm here, I'm just going to trust God to help me sing what comes to me now and believe that that will, uh, you know, touch people's lives. Right, very quickly. The lockdown, the lockdown. How was that for you with 4 kids, 4 children, and a husband in the house? Did you
It was,
empty the shelves, Costco shelves, to get some food in the house, or what?
oh man, yeah, it was 27 weeks we were in. Because we went on the 2 weeks before lockdown, we actually went into lockdown because my son decided to cough in school with just a normal cough, and he
Right.
basically got escorted out of school. So
Oh
we all had
man.
to go into lockdown, which
Oh.
was just mad. And yeah, the first 6-7 weeks were really hard. We had 4 kids, all different ages, 7, 10, 12, and 15. Plus me.
I can sell, I can sell 5 kids. Peter, she's not talking about you. No, not you, Peter.
Yeah, so we had that, and we had obviously different homeschooling, and man alive, I felt like I had to go back to school. I was like Googling all that my 7-year-old's work. I was literally nearly ringing up your wife's tutoring thing. I was like,
Right.
help me. It was just like, how on earth can I do this and work? And I really prayed about it, and God was just, honestly, God just knows every detail. And my husband, he was working as well. So we felt like we were failing our kids because we couldn't sit with them all the time with their work. And it was just crazy. And stress-wise, I felt really overwhelmed. There was days I cried. Honestly, I hit rock bottom at the beginning of lockdown.
Wow.
I had worship going on, and I was
Wow.
like, really struggle like that, but it even hit me and it hit Peter, and we were all really quite low. And I remember we just prayed about it, and then the next day, my husband got offered furlough. We
Oh,
ended up
good.
7 months off furlough,
Oh,
um,
wow.
and then I ended up having flexi furlough where I only had to work one week out of 4. So it
Oh,
just meant that we could concentrate on the family, and
oh,
God
wow.
met that need. It's just been incredible. But yeah, prior to that, so we ended up having a lot of quality family time. We had
That's
to
good.
we had to stay in a lot because obviously the consultants were saying I was high risk with my medical backgrounds and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, but we just it was, yeah, but we got through, and I just thank God
Praise
for
God.
keeping us safe and well. And we were able to
Yeah.
help other people who were going through stuff. Got a couple of
Yeah.
friends who are going through cancer at the moment, and we've been able
Wow.
to help them, and been doing a lot of online worship stuff.
Yeah.
So that's been challenging. You
A
don't realize
challenge,
how much you appreciate PA people, do you? And
Wow.
tech people. So you have to
Yeah.
record things yourself, and you're like, oh my word, what am I doing? So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's been really good. I've been recording today actually for the big push in Liverpool, which is
Oh, yeah.
really
I
exciting.
saw that as well. That's
Yeah.
interesting. You know what? I've
So
got a friend of mine here. We call him Tammy T, but I call him a different name, which I shall not. Well, maybe I can. He's the Arch Pope. He's the Chief Executive Apostle. That's what I call him. We like this title thing. He says his youngest daughter did exactly what your child did in school, and just went just a random cough, and then they all had to go locked down. So
yeah.
maybe this is a plot. Maybe they, colluded and like, you know what? Let's give them something to think about. Yeah, anyway, it's all good.
But you know what though, even like through that, it made me realize how once we had the work had laid off, it made me realize how busy we were before, and it was just
Right,
really good to just use that time to spend time with the Lord and just
right.
to press into him. And like he spoke to me about so many things, and
Mm,
just to like pray over our kids, and just like as a family just come together. And
right.
when you're in ministry, I don't know if I'm going over time, but when you're in ministry, obviously we're both in ministry jobs that are in ministry with youth work. Pete does the cap and stuff, and you just you can be so busy giving out that sometimes you can neglect your own walk in a way.
That's
and
right.
it was just to have that time just to feed ourselves spiritually, time to stop, rest, turn down the noise, and just listen to what God has. So I'm really excited for what's coming ahead. I feel, you know, even despite everything that's going on at the moment, like I feel like God will turn it around for his good. I think people are hungry for more of God. People who don't, there's so many people who are searching, aren't they? And you just think, I really believe people are asking more questions. They're more open to hear what God about the Lord, and I'm excited to share that with them. And you know, so
You know, lockdown, this pandemic has presented at the very onset. I recorded a video which I posted and said that this in a guise is an opportunity for Christians, those who know the Lord, to actually stand up and be prepared to speak the truth, because there will be a few people who will come and want to ask, so where is God in all of this? If God is such a loving God, why has he allowed this? And those who have the answers, those who can actually take Cedar as the opportunity to actually share the nature, the loving nature of God. Maybe it never goes into a conversion where they become Christians, but they would have heard the untainted, undiluted gospel message of God's love. And that's what I think it is. Also, like you rightly said, the love thing has given a lot of families the time to bond together that they've never had before, like to sit down a whole day and let alone 6, 7, 8 weeks or even 5 months to sit down together and have a decent conversation and all that. But it could go anyway. Now, we're going to run up because we've got 2 minutes. So what can we expect from you maybe before the end of the year, or do you have things planned for next year from Ruth Clarke Ministry? What should the world expect from you?
There will be more music coming. At the moment, I've been doing a lot of online stuff to support local churches and stuff like that. So obviously, there's such a need there at the moment to reach out in that way. So I've been putting a lot of time into that. But obviously, I'm part of Inspired Lane HQ. I don't know if anyone is not, the record label in London, and they've got such an amazing heart, and there will be more music coming. So watch this space.
Okay.
But yeah, it's at the minute you can't even go anywhere. And I've tried to get the levels in my house, and I'm not very good at recording, so I think I'll leave that to Brian. I'm really excited. There's some amazing songs that have been written. Next song I'm really, really excited about. But yeah, watch this space. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. You know what? Somebody just left, I think, which is more like a summary of this interview. Pauline says, it's been an amazing interview with a blessed, funny, and beautiful soul. And indeed, that is what it is. And of course, my other sisters went in it, which is what we say in London. In it, Pauline, in it.
You know what, too cool.
Now, mind you, all these people, these are worship leaders here in the UK. So when next you come here, you must grab me by my scruff my neck to show you everybody, take you around and introduce you to everybody, because you all need to meet. And then, but
together, Wole, we'll have to do something.
Yes, I think you know what, we'll work towards something. By God's grace, we'll work towards something. But
you'll have to come to Liverpool, and I'll show you that a stranger will buy you a complete copy in Liverpool.
Well, honestly, like the Lord has spoken to me that I need to move to Liverpool, so maybe I will get more than just coffee.
Yeah, a bit of fresh air on the sea.
Fresh air, well, yes, why not? But listen, we'll go a few more seconds. I want to say thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for being a blessing. I'm going to post the replay so people can watch again. And I usually get lots more people watching afterwards, maybe because they're not available this time. And the reviews and comments are always lovely. And I can tell you, this is right up there, one of those. You've been a blessing to us. Thanks for sharing your life story and for being a blessing to all of us. My love, my greetings to Peter, your 4 kids. You can release them now, Peter. You know, the headlock, you can let them go.
I might need to go up and save him. But listen, this is a funny bit. I don't even know how to take myself off Instagram Live.
No, turn you up. I've got 10 seconds. I'll turn you up. It's okay. But listen, thank you so much. We'll catch up again definitely.
Oh,
Okay.
God
All the best.